The morning sun over Okuta village burned red, heavy and silent. People gathered in the square, whispering behind their hands as the blacksmith's only daughter stood beside her father's lifeless body. Adanna's father, Obi the blacksmith, had been everything the village respected, strong, skilled, and honorable, until the day he dared to challenge the chief's arrogant son, Adanna, in the Festival of Strength. That was the day everything changed. Obi had fought fair, but Adanna fought dirty. When Obi fell to the ground, coughing blood, the chief only smiled and declared his son victorious. Hours later, Obi was gone, and with him, Adanna's laughter. As the villagers murmured, some out of pity, some out of scorn, Adanna clutched her father's old hammer. "If strength belongs only to men," she whispered, "then I'll learn to be stronger than any man alive." The people laughed at her words. A woman blacksmith? The gods will strike her. She should find a husband, not a hammer. But that night, while others slept, the forge in Obi's old workshop came alive again. Sparks danced under the moonlight as Adanna swung the hammer her father had taught her to use. Her hands blistered, her arms ached, but she did not stop. Her mother, Mama Nena, begged her to give it up. "My daughter, you can't fight men. You'll get yourself killed." "Then let me die standing," Adanna replied. "Papa didn't raise me to kneel." Days turned into weeks. Adanna's body hardened, her resolve sharpened. The once soft girl who carried baskets to the river now lifted iron with her bare hands. When the Festival of Strength was announced again, the villagers mocked her. "Will you go fight too, blacksmith's daughter?" She smiled faintly. "Maybe I will." Under a hood, she signed up using the name Adu, meaning stranger. No one would suspect her. No one would stop her. On the day of her first fight, the crowd roared as she stepped into the dusty ring. Her opponent, a large farmer named Dyke, laughed so hard he nearly dropped his spear. "You? Fight me? You'll cry before I touch you." But when the gong sounded, Adanna moved like lightning. One strike to his chest, another to his jaw, and the man fell like a broken tree. Silence filled the air. "Who is that? He fights like a spirit." "Adu, Adu, Adu," the crowd chanted. Behind the hood, Adanna's lips curved slightly. She had taken her first step toward reclaiming her father's honor. Within days, all of Okuta was talking about Adu, the mysterious fighter who defeated men twice his size. Market women left their stalls to watch his fights. Young boys tried to mimic his moves in the fields. Even the elders, who once said women belonged only in kitchens, couldn't stop talking. But the chief was not pleased. From his carved wooden throne, Chief Nwok listened as Adanna reported, "Father, this fighter is becoming too popular. The people cheer for him more than for me." "Then crush him," the chief said coldly. "Break him in the ring. End this noise." The next morning, Adanna read the match list posted at the arena gate. Her heart skipped. Her next opponent, Adanna, the chief's son. She clenched her fists. Her father's murderer. The man who mocked her pain. Her mentor, Ease, a crippled warrior who had once fought in the arena, found her sitting quietly by the river that evening. "Child, you don't have to do this. The chief will not play fair." "Neither did his son when he killed my father," Adanna replied. "It's time I stop hiding." The day of the fight arrived. The sun was merciless, and the entire village came to watch. Drums thundered as Adanna swaggered into the ring, gold bracelets gleaming. "So this is the mighty Adu?" he sneered. "Come, let's see what hides behind that mask." The gong struck. Adanna charged, swinging his staff, but Adanna ducked and struck back. Her movements were fast, precise, angry. The crowd gasped. This stranger was no ordinary fighter. Adanna, furious and humiliated, lunged again, this time grabbing her hood and yanking it off. The crowd froze. A woman's face stared back at them, sweat and dust streaking her cheeks, eyes burning with defiance. "A woman," someone shouted. "That's Obi's daughter," another gasped. Chief Nwok rose from his seat, veins bulging in rage. "This is an abomination. Throw her out." But Adanna stood tall. You call yourself men, yet you hide behind rules. You killed my father because he refused to bow. So now I ask, who among you dares to make me kneel? The crowd was silent. Even Adanna hesitated. Then with a roar she charged. Her fist landed squarely on his jaw. The arrogant prince staggered, stumbled, and crashed to the ground. For a moment, the world stood still. Then chaos. The villagers screamed her name. Adanna! 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 The chief's guards rushed to grab her, but the people blocked their path. Women who once mocked her now formed a human wall around her. That night, the chief's palace burned with anger. He ordered her forge destroyed, hoping to silence her spirit. But as Adanna sifted through the ashes, she found a metal box buried beneath the rubble. Inside was a folded letter, her father's handwriting. Her hands shook as she read. If you are reading this, they have silenced me. The chief's son did not win that fight. He killed me to hide the truth. Her tears dropped onto the paper. It wasn't just about strength anymore. It was about justice. The final day of the festival came. The arena was full, drums loud, tension thick. The chief sat on his throne, proud and smiling, thinking Adanna had been crushed. But then the crowd stirred. Heads turned. Adanna was walking toward the ring, barefoot, covered in soot and ash, her father's hammer in one hand, and the letter in the other. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She's back. The chief will have her killed. She stopped in the center of the arena and raised her voice. You all watched them call my father a liar. You watched them kill him for speaking truth. But today, Okutta will hear his voice again. She held up the letter. Ease, the old warrior, stepped beside her, holding the chief's old fight records, proof that Obi had won, fair and square, years ago. The chief's face turned pale. That's enough, he shouted. Seize them. But no one moved. The guards hesitated. The people's eyes burned with anger. Adanna turned to Adanna. Fight me, she said quietly. Right here. No lies. No father to save you. The crowd began to chant. Let them fight. Let them fight. And so it began. Adanna swung first, wild and desperate, but Adanna was faster. She dodged, countered, struck. Every move carried her father's memory. Every breath echoed his name. When Adanna finally fell to his knees, gasping, Adanna lifted her hammer high. The crowd waited, breathless. But instead of striking, she let it drop beside him. I don't need to kill you, she said softly. You're already broken. She turned to the chief, who sat trembling on his throne. You built your power on lies and fear. But today, the truth stands taller than your crown. Slowly, one by one, the villagers knelt, not out of fear, but out of respect. Even the elders bowed their heads. The chief was stripped of his title that same evening. Adanna rebuilt her father's forge, but this time, it wasn't just for men. Women, young and old, came to learn the art of strength and steel. And when travelers passed through Okutta, they spoke of the girl who had once been mocked for lifting a hammer, the girl who turned her pain into power and made a whole village kneel.